So today, we're going to be looking at the furry fandom. Who are the furries? What is a furry? What things do furries like to do? These are all interesting questions. Let's take a little look at this fandom and subculture and learn more about it. The furry fandom is a subculture interested in anthropomorphic animal characters with human personalities and characteristics. Just think of Bugs Bunny, Nick from Zootopia, or Robin Hood. The term anthropomorphic literally means human-shaped. So many anthropomorphic animals have human-level intelligence, facial expressions, they speak and walk on two legs, they also wear clothing. Furries are people who have an active interest in the animal characters. Now, often these people create their own characters. These are called fursonas, a sort of alternate take on persona. And these people, the furries, often interact with other members of the community via role-playing and art, sort of featuring their fursona. There are strong online communities, and many real-life communities too, where people who identify as furries come together to celebrate their art. The furry fandom, also abbreviated just to the fandom, attracts many creative people from all walks of life. Some furries, when they're not talking online, will sometimes attend furcons, which are large events which attract a global audience.
I'm good. How well are you doing?
And many furries from around the world will often attend these big conventions. There's been fur conventions in the UK, Germany, America, Europe, Asia, Latin America, even Venezuela has had a fur convention. There are also smaller events where fewer people may attend, such as the London Furs or Manchester Furs. These conventions offer a wide range of entertainment, such as furry comedy acts, panel events, dressing and role-playing in costumes, dancing in nightclubs, food, workshops, lots of pizza. There's even gaming competitions which a lot of people can enjoy. Another popular activity is something called fur walks, where people will suit up in their fursuits and they will go with their minders and walk around a town or a city, often role-playing and having some really good fun. And generally, the general public overwhelmingly react incredibly well to seeing a whole bunch of people dressed as animals walking down the street. It's really fun, actually. The furry fandom is also an incredibly good place to make friends and to meet people. It's generally exceptionally welcoming, and it's very open to a lot of different people, especially people who may kind of feel like they may not fit in with the mainstream culture. A lot of conventions actually do a lot of good in the world. Many conventions will have a chosen charity. Animal welfare charities are especially popular. One convention, Confuzzled, in 2019 welcomed over 2,000 attendees from 30 different countries to the West Midlands. Confuzzle that year also raised £30,000 for charity. Now I may as well address the elephant in the room. Nearly all subcultures might have a sort of adult element. The furry fandom's no different, but generally speaking, any kind of erotic stuff is kept behind closed doors, it's private, it's generally not on display, especially not at any kind of convention. I should also mention there's an awful lot of culture which furries have produced. For example, there's a lot of furry artists, musicians, costume designers, animators who have created films. There's also programmers. In fact, there's people of virtually every field who kind of get interested in the fandom, and they build spaces, online spaces, offline spaces. There are a lot of very creative people, and there's a lot of people who aren't creative, who just really want to go along and enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy meeting up with friends and making new friends. So, you guys may be wondering, who does the furry fandom attract? In its online and offline forms? Well, there's a very diverse range of people who attend events. Events are generally extremely welcoming to everyone, from all backgrounds. There are many straight and LGBTQ people. There are probably more men than women, but there's normally a good mix of people. The fandom has attracted disabled and able-bodied people, neurodiverse people and neurotypical people. The fandom, being a very safe and welcoming space, has attracted people who are deaf and people who may mildly be on the autistic spectrum too. Many events also welcome families and have a very fun, inclusive atmosphere. The furry fandom also intersects with a lot of other subcultures, such as science fiction fans and even bronies. You'll sometimes find furries at events such as Comic-Con in London or other sort of science fiction based events. Furries, especially the ones who like to dress up, often help raise money for charity events as well, so you'll quite often see people in fur costumes sort of helping to raise money for various charities. The fandom also intersects with brony fandom. The bronies are fans of the modern day adaptation of My Little Pony. The furry fandom's actually much older than the brony fandom. The furry fandom probably started in the late 80s and early 90s, and the idea was friends could get together and they could just celebrate something which they kind of loved, something that they really shared, which was a sort of creative and imaginative world. Many furries are also fans of science fiction. You might see furries at events such as Doctor Who events or many others. There's also many people who may attend LGBTQ events. And now part of the reason why I wanted to make this video was furries have occasionally been represented quite poorly in the media. So I really wanted to put out a video which would talk about the fandom and would give people insight into the community. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. As always, please like and subscribe and comment.
Sorry if you don't like my puns. I can pause for a moment.